Hello, my beautiful friends. I am Tamara with Luce Bianca Sound Healing and Meditation. And in today's video, I want to offer you some support if you're feeling like you're going through a transition of some sort, big or small. It's keeping you unsettled, it's keeping you uncomfortable, and you're just shifting into challenging times or times of doubts and confusion and anxiety. So I want to share with you a special meditation, a special oracle message, and just really be there for you and letting you know you're not alone right now. There's a lot of transition going on in the world, and that we are definitely going to get through this, and we're definitely going to get through it together as a community, and it will lead us to something much, much greater. So first and foremost, what is a transition? So transition is something that I'm currently going through myself at this time of my life. And I know a lot of my friends and a lot of my clients have also shared with me they're going through a big period of transition. Transition, I kind of look at them as rites of passage. It kind of seems to me that it is a test of some kind, a trial, tribulation, an uncomfortable feeling where you have to get through it in order to get to the other side. And it is it's a special passage where you can find out more about yourself, you can learn something, and you can really evolve and grow from the experience. It really makes me think of the cultural rites of passages. I'm envisioning a young boy coming of age, going to spend time in a cavern by himself in the middle of winter, having to deal with the weather and wild animals. And I know that seems a little bit cliche and sort of a scene from a movie, but that really allows me to relate to what tribulation and what transition is. It's being able to test yourself as you're going through that challenging time, knowing that you have to get through it. You have to go to the other side of it so that you can prove your worth, but also so that you can learn and become more valuable, more vibrant, and better equipped for whatever else life throws at you. So I choose to look at transition as something that is difficult, but there is a big, valuable lesson in it. So transitions can be small or big. You may be transitioning by just not feeling quite yourself, not feeling quite right. Maybe you don't even know what's changed. It could be something that things that used to interest you, they are not relating to you as much anymore. Maybe you're not clicking and connecting with the same group of friends, or just simply a feeling of boredom or stagnation, or not feeling satisfied from life and trying to find that missing piece. So it could be something subtle, something that hits you here and there, and that it does not have a clear challenge. It doesn't present a real concrete problem. And on the other hand, a transition of some kind could be something bigger, as in you're transitioning to a new location. Maybe you're moving out of your city, moving out of your state or country. You're changing jobs. Maybe you're having a baby, or you just broke up from a long-term relationship. It could be so many things that are really more bigger scale, and it's a big transition going from what you knew and what you were used to, and you felt it was defining you, and now you have been shaken to your core, and you're going through uncharted territories, and you're trying to figure out, who am I now? Like, I'm transitioning to something new, and I don't quite know how to handle it. I don't quite know what to do. So it's also that sense of not being really sure about your decisions, and not really sure about what is right and what is wrong on your path. Thinking back to my own personal life, I have gone through major transitions. The first one around the age of 13. Many of us, I think, as teenagers, we go big transitions, leaving childhood behind and getting into, young adulthood and trying to figure out who you are. So as a regular 13-year-old girl, I was going through the same thing and struggling through the transition of becoming my own personality, figuring out who I am and what I wanted to do and be in the world. And then for me, in addition, that transition was even more complicated because it is at 13 that I moved from Italy and migrated to the United States, not knowing anyone, not speaking the language, being thrown into the school system, not understanding the culture, not understanding the language, and just feeling really alone. So that was my very first huge transition that molded me into what I needed to be. And then I believe that in my mid to late 20s, it was also another big transition for me. I think that when you get closer to 30, you also start figuring out what it is that you want from your adult self, and what are you bringing to society? What are you bringing into the world, right? What is it that you really want to stick with and settle down with for the rest of your life? What are you being productive about? What lights you up? And now, as I'm, just a couple of months away from turning 40, this is another transition that I'm going through right now in my own life. And I think it's more of an introspective looking back the last 40 years of my life and really questioning, what have I done that I'm proud of? What have I done that I'm now proud of? What have I done that really stuck as a core memory, and how can I spend the next 40 years of my life building up on that and just really being happy and more fulfilled? And I do feel a sense of stagnation, and I don't want to say boredom, but something that's not clicking in anymore. So that's my personal challenge right now, is transitioning into the next 40, 50 years of my life, and wondering if I like the place I am at right now. So many of you may relate to this. So let me know in the comments if this makes sense and if you've ever felt that way. I also want to point out that right now the transition that we're going through is even more difficult than usual, because we're not just going through our own transitioning challenges and experiences, but right now collectively the entire world is going through a major shift. And I think it is very plain to see just by turning on the news. The world is completely shaken right now. There is a lot of tension. There is a lot of fighting. There is a lot of senseless death. And I think that definitely affects our own transition in our own life journey, because we are attached to the earth. We're part of earth, and being citizens of the world, and as a human collective, we're not just feeling the pains and the trials of our own transition. We're also closely listening to Mother Earth cries and pleas, and we are feeling the energy of everything that is going on. So collectively, we have a lot on our shoulders. We have a lot of weight that we are carrying. And Earth itself is going through a major shift right now. All of the news that we hear, it is going to bring Mother Earth, and it's going to bring the world as a collective into a new era, into a new period. This shift is very active. It's very concrete. We can feel it. Most of us can really relate to the sense of uneasiness, and there is this tension. It's the energy of tension that we're feeling every single day, just from the world events alone. So you couple that with our own transitions and our own issues and our own introspective and growing that we have to do right now, and that can make you feel kind of crazy. So what are the symptoms of transitions and the challenges of transitions? Well, for one, you may be feeling kind of disconnected. Disconnection is something that happens during transition, because you know what you're leaving behind, you know what you're used to, you know what seems safe and reliable, and that you can expect to be there. And as you're transitioning, you are discovering different parts of yourself or different parts of the world, different situations, feelings, emotions. And you feel startled by that because as humans, we really like routines. We really like safety. We are wired. Every single one of us is wired to be safe and to be on the lookout for danger and just preserving our life and our health and ourselves. And, it is something that is ingrained in our DNA. So anything at all, even energetically, that threatens that safety and that feeling of foundation, it puts our nervous system a little bit on high alert. Some of us deal with that by detaching from the situation. And by detaching, you could be almost ignoring the transition that is happening. Almost like, well, things are shifting, things are changing, but it's too much to deal with. It's causing me too much anxiety. It's causing me too many questions and uneasy feelings. So I choose to walk away from and not even acknowledge that I'm in a transition phase right now. So that only makes the transition harder. Why? Because it's going to happen regardless. We are going to be shifting. Things always change. Energy is always changing, is always moving. We can't stop energy from moving, from flowing, from transmuting. So we can't stop the transition either. But detaching from and not acknowledging that it's there, it's going to cause even more pushback, and it's going to cause eventually even more anxiety. Some of us are also feeling more fatigued than usual, spaciness, feeling kind of like you're in a bubble or in a cloud, unable to focus and concentrate. And that's because you're feeling all this energy of the transition and it's bogging you down a little bit. It's like, you're feeling overwhelmed. Another symptom of transition is feeling sadness or longing for something that you miss from the past, maybe something that during a non-transition period of your life you wouldn't give much thought about, but now as you're transitioning, these old feelings and memories and emotions are coming back because you're sort of grieving what was lost as you are going through something that you're not sure about, right? So there could be a little bit of resentment, there could be a little bit of anger, even towards yourself. Like, what is wrong with me? Why am I feeling this way? My life is great. There should be nothing that I'm irritated about. It is just part of the course, and it's how your body is reacting to this pushing effect. The transition is pushing you to move forward. Then there's always the feeling of rushing, of the pressure of making decisions right here, right now. It could be something like an impulsive need to move, something I've been dealing with lately. Thinking that if you make a drastic decision, such as moving out of state or changing careers completely, or whatever that may be, that is a little bit more drastic than usual, or that can really be life-changing, it seems like it could be the answer in shaking you out of this transition. Now, making such decisions are not, it's not necessarily bad to say, hey, I'm going to take a leap of faith and I'm going to do this and get a fresh new start, as long as it's divinely inspired and you are doing it by careful contemplation and coming from a place of certainty, not evading the feeling of stagnation or uneasiness that transition brings, but you're making the decision of making, you're making these more drastic, for a lack of a better word, decisions because you really feel it heart inspired and it's within your heart, not because you're trying to shake things up just so you can get distracted by something else. So impulsive thoughts or decisions, or that pressure and that overwhelm of making sudden changes, that it can also be part of transitioning. Okay, so as promised, I also wanted to pull 2 oracle cards from a special deck, the Elki Oracle deck. It is one of my absolute favorite ones. It is very, very powerful. It's basically a deck filled with warrior women and just leaders and wise women that bring wisdom and clarity and advice in their own special way. And the cards are pretty much spot on what I think is going on in this transition period. The first card is Amelie. So Amelie is she who questions. She's all about understanding that questioning one thing leads to more questions, and that more questions lead to more opportunities and more answers and more versions of reality, right? So she is the embodiment of curiosity. She's the embodiment of searching for fate and destiny. So right now, the first thing about transitioning is that we're dealing with a lot of questions, and that's okay. So if you're like me, I like to just know straight up what's going on. I don't like surprises. I don't like guesswork. I like safety. I like foundation. It's the Capricorn in me. I like things to flow a certain order. And as I'm going through my own transition, that's not happening. I have a million questions about who I want to be, and what I want to give back to the community, what I want to do with my business, what I want to do with anything. So I am questioning a lot, and I'm not finding a lot of answers that are coming swiftly, but that's okay. So this is the time. This is the time to be questioning. This is the time to just put the questions out there, and if they lead to more questions, welcome them. Because the reality of the matter and the reality of transition is that asking all of these questions opens up brand new opportunities, and it opens up brand new paths to lead you to places that you might have never discovered before. So don't be afraid of asking yourself these questions, but more importantly, don't be afraid of not having the answers just yet. This is an exploratory period. This is what the transition period does for us. It is just a way to be curious and just entertain different ideas, and trusting that things will settle into the right place at the right time. The second card is Estefania, she who surrenders. So this card is a beautiful reminder about chains and bondage and letting go of the past. So as we are finding ourselves asking all of these questions and wondering which direction to take and struggling to get the answers that we want, it is important to remember that we can't move forward if we let the past continuously hold us back. So Estefania is about making peace with who you are, making peace with the past, making peace with not always having all the answers, and just let go of that bondage that keeps a hold on us. So whatever that is for you, it could be self-limiting beliefs, it could be toxic relationships, it could be not being able to let go to old grudges or resentment. This is the time that if you're wanting to really learn from this transition, you have to be able to let go of the past. You're not going to be able to flow nice and easy through the transition and all the tribulations that it brings and those uncomfortable feelings if you're constantly holding on to the past. You want to get through the other side. You want to go to what is waiting for you on the other side of this transition. It could be something amazing, and more than likely is going to be something that works for your highest good. But you're prolonging this transition and the painful journey if you continuously hold on to the past, because you can't be in the present if you're constantly worrying about things that have happened in the past. And you more certainly cannot be accepting the future if you're not accepting your past, right? It doesn't make sense. So this is a reminder that oftentimes the chains that bind us are chains that we make ourselves. So this is a really good reminder for us to allow to forgive ourselves, forgive others, letting go, so that we can flow through this period and just really let destiny happen. Okay, my friends, so I want to offer you a very short guided meditation right now to help you or give you a tool of navigating this transition and this sense of uncertainty and overwhelm in your own time, so that you can practice with me right now, but you can also take this short meditation and do it at any time you have a few minutes and you're feeling maybe burdened or overwhelmed and unsure and anxious. This is something that will anchor you down into the present moment and allows you to remember that it's okay. You're going through the flow, you're going through it, you are provided for, you're cared for. And even though there is a storm raging on the outside, you can still find shelter within yourself. You are your own home, you are your own sanctuary. So let's go ahead and start taking a deep breath in. Gently closing the eyes. And starting to feel some stillness within by just focusing on the breath. Nice long deep breaths in. Nice long breaths out. Imagine yourself hitting a big red pause button. This is your button. This signals that everything raging around you or even inside you must come to a stop for a little while. Continue to follow the breath as you give yourself permission to be still, just focusing on yourself and in the present moment. In the next few seconds, let's envision a storm raging, blowing around us. Notice the rain falling down. Notice the wind howling. Envision lightning flashes. Even feel strong gusts of wind blowing through your hair. Imagine the grayness, the darkness of this storm. And now, as the storm continues, envision a bright yellow bubble of light. This orb of light is surrounding you from head to toe. Every single part of your body is veiled and protected in this yellow light. Even though the storm rages, and you can see it and you can hear it, you are completely dry from the rain, safe from the wind, inside of your yellow light. This light extends 1 foot out away from your feet and 1 foot out from the top of your head, and expands out 1 foot away from your left arm, your left side, and 1 foot away from your right arm and right side. Imagine floating in this beautiful, comforting light. And even though the storm on the outside is loud and scary and uncomfortable, you know that you are completely safe and sheltered in your light. Feel the warmth, the coziness, the sweetness, the peace this light brings you. This light does not stop from the storm. This light does not stop the storm from raging. It does not stall the rain or calm the wind. But as this light comes from within your heart, expanding outward. It is your light in your sanctuary, in your safe space, where you are sheltered away from the danger of the storm. No matter how long it will rain and thunder, you will always find shelter and safety in your own light for as long as you need. I invite you to practice this visual meditation every single time you feel overwhelmed, distressed, uncertain during times of changes and transition. Knowing that you always can surround yourself with this light, which will shelter you, will keep you safe. This light comes from within you, and it is given to you by the divine, the creator, God, the universe. It is your birthright to always be able to retreat into this beautiful light. I really hope that this meditation was helpful. I hope that today's message brings you some hope in knowing that you are supported through this and you are not going through this alone. As always, drop a comment. Let me know how this resonates. Let me know how you are coping with this period of transition. And as always, please subscribe and like. It only takes 1 second, but it really helps the channel grow so that I can reach more people. I'm very thankful for you. Thank you for watching. Until next time.